That being said, now y'all, let's get into some stunners in the NBA playoffs. With my first game being the Bucks versus the Pacers, Game 5. Now, going into this game, I think I already mentioned a little bit too with the Bucks, with that Damian Lillard injury that I mentioned last episode. It was gonna be probably really tough for Giannis and company to really just pull off this kind of feat against the Indiana Pacers, a team that's like, their offense is just very sporadic and very just on the roll in a sense in terms of the Pacers. But now the Bucks, they made it tough on the Pacers to close it out at home. But they lost in overtime, 119 to 118 win against the Bucks. Ironically, though, the most overrated player, as voted by the players themselves, and probably Damian Lillard is up there as one of them that probably voted him. Maybe even the whole Bucks roster probably might think so. But Tyrese Halliburton, what the hell he Burton? Now, he hits the game winner in overtime to close out an 8-0 run late in overtime. In 42 minutes, Halliburton had 26 points with that game winner. He had 9 assists, along with 5 rebounds, along with 3 blocks. Now, as a two-way player, Tyrese Halliburton has been playing lights out, y'all. Miles Turner, he had 21 points himself with 9 rebounds. And then T.J. McCollum off the bench, he had 18, 3 and 3. Now, for the Bucks, Giannis, he played well, y'all. He played well. He had a triple-double in 44 minutes. He had 30, 13, and 20. Gary Trent Jr. played 48 minutes himself. He had 33, 5, and 2. Now, some key things in this game, though. The Bucks were up 7 points with 33 seconds left. Now, here's a stat for y'all. Teams that are up by 7 or more points with 40 seconds or less in a game, they're 1,176 and 0. That's until the Pacers came into town, and the Bucks squandered the lead late in the game with a turnover by Gary Trent. Doc's coaching is in question here in terms of that, because that last 33 seconds, I'm not too sure what the Bucks were actually planning on trying to do. They had a 7-point lead. I'm not too sure where Doc Rivers' head was really at in terms of this game. He had Giannis guarding Tyrese Halliburton, who ultimately scored the most points in the fourth and overtime as well. And, Tyrese Halliburton was just carving up Giannis, honestly, y'all. So, and then not to mention the post-game antics between Giannis and Tyrese Halliburton's dad as well. They got in like a little, they're touching foreheads, y'all. And I'm like, wait, for a timeout. Seeing those two touch forehead, first of all, Giannis is a big guy, y'all. He's a big man. And I'm not too sure. I know Tyrese came out and apologized about it as well, as Giannis did himself. And then his dad came and apologized as well. Tyrese, obviously, he didn't approve these antics from his father, of course. And what was it? Indiana, of course, didn't even approve of it at all, where they actually, I think they banned him for the rest of the season, actually, from all Pacer home games, I believe it was. And so, overall, though, the Bucks, they just didn't get it done against the Pacers, unfortunately. And this kind of leads me and transitions me into my next question. What's next for Giannis? I want you guys to let me know down below. I'm going to give my thoughts right now, too, but let me know down below what you think. What is next for Giannis? Now, in the past, Giannis has expressed being unhappy before, and with this series loss, his future is looming in the air with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, it's ultimately his decision. I don't think the Bucks have any say-so in this. In that sense, I don't think they would move on themselves from Giannis, but the feelings might not be mutual, and Giannis may want to move on himself. And then where will he end up? Now, there's been a lot of speculations of a couple teams. Maybe the Houston Rockets could use someone like Giannis. OKC, they have all those draft picks and capital. They can send some guys out to Milwaukee in exchange for Giannis himself. And then, honestly, but my favorite landing spot that maybe I'm thinking he could go to the Spurs and work, and Giannis and Wemby. Now, mind you, they will have to give up most of their young core with also draft picks as well for the San Antonio Spurs. But I think having Giannis and Wemby work side by side Maybe CP3 it plays another year as well. Having those guys all together under a new head coaching regime as well in San Antonio, the sky's the limits for that team as well. Now, with the Indiana Pacers, this leads me into another game so they had their game 1 last night against Cleveland in the semifinals. Now, the Pacers, y'all, they steal game 1 in Cleveland in 121-112 victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road. All 5 starters scored double digits on this high-paced offense in Indiana, like I mentioned. They shot extremely well from three-point land at 53%. And then, obviously, like I said, Tyrese Haliburton is showing the NBA that he's an efficient two-way guard and showing why he isn't overrated by any stretch or means, y'all. For the Pacers, Tyrese Haliburton, he had 22 points. He had 13 assists with 3 rebounds, along with a steal and 3 blocks. And then Andrew Nembhard, he had 23 and 6 himself. He shot 5 and 6 from the 3. He had big shots down the stretch as well. Pascal Siakam had 17, 4, and 8. But for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they had no Darius Garland again. I think it was the 4th straight game, I believe it was. I might be incorrect. Am I correct there, Noah? It might have been 3. He might have been missed 3 or 4 straight games so far for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But it was a very, very poor shooting performance by the Cleveland Cavaliers. They shot 9 of 38 from beyond the arc. That's only a whopping 24% for them. So Donovan Mitchell, though, he played well. It was 3 games. So, he missed 3 games so far. In terms of Donovan Mitchell, he did not play well. He didn't shoot well. But he broke Michael Jordan's playoff record with at least 30 points in his series opener, making it 8 games in a row for him. He had 33 points. Again, he shot poorly. He was 13 of 30, 111 from the three-point range, y'all. So, his teammate, Evan Mobley, the Defensive Player of the Year, he had 20 points himself. Ty Jerome had pretty good efforts off the bench himself, which they weren't enough, though, as he had 21 points. Now, let's take a look at Tyrese Haliburton's playoff ratio in the playoffs. It's historic, y'all. In 20 career playoff games for Tyrese Haliburton, he is the only player in NBA history with 180 assists and 50 or less turnovers, which he has 180 assists and 42 turnovers in his 20 career games. Now, the Cavs and Pacers, they will be playing Game 2 on Tuesday night as well in Cleveland. So I want to give my kind of predictions for the rest of this series. With Darius Garland out, who's going to be their scorer? I mean, Donovan Mitchell and Jerome and Ty Jerome, they combined for over 50 shots in Game 1. You can't have nothing like that going on. Like I said, Donovan shot 30-plus times, and then Ty Jerome off the bench shot 20 times, y'all. So just seeing them, the one guy I think that needs to step up is DeAndre Hunter. He might need to step up because it will be tough for Cleveland to handle a team like the Pacers if someone like him does not step up as well. I think the Pacers could take this one the distance in 7, maybe even 6 games. I like it for the Pacers. If Darius Garland is not going to return in this series, it might be bad news bears for the Cleveland Cavaliers for sure, y'all. Because like I said, they need someone else besides Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, of course, as well, who can score and also play pretty good perimeter defense as well against this Pacers team that like I said, they're just they flash, y'all. They go up and down that court like no tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think about this series with the Cavs and Pacers. Do you see the Pacers pulling off the upset against the Cavs, or do you think the Cavs got a little bit more in the tank than the Pacers? Let me know down below, y'all.